Hello and welcome back to my review of the Master Grade 1 to 100 scale Gundam Astray Red Frame Kai. And in this part of the review we'll be going over the Gundam with just the dual katanas that make the tactical arms into its work form, check out the blue frame variant of the tactical arms, and give it my final grading. As expected, the Master Grade has no problems whatsoever holding both the katanas at the same time, and thanks to the hole and peg mechanism in the hands, they stay in there fairly well. Because they're all holes in both sides of the katana handles, you have no problem whatsoever holding the katanas backwards, and you can achieve some pretty cool looking poses with it if you're creative. With the dual katanas, the possibilities seem almost endless. All you need to do is have a creative mind and some patience, and honestly there are some poses that just look better without the tactical arms. Now, moving away from the Gundam itself and onto the tactical arms, we're trying to make it into the work form, and if we take a look, we can see that the claws are supposed to be pinched out, and the beam torch, as it is called, should be in the other hand. So there's no exact instructions, but it should be kind of fun to make your own. And after a bit of tweaking around with stuff, I think I find a way to make this into the tactical arms work form. So we'll first by doing the obvious, by pulling off the beam torch, and after that, we will first slide these blade/wing parts up and pull them up into more of a claw form that the work form is known for. And if you look at the picture, these funnels or fins-ish aren't exactly there. So we'll have to do our best and just press them down and try to imagine that they're not there. And because the work form's bottom half is covered by the Astray itself, we can either think of it as being similar to Delta form, but I like to make it into this kind of shape, mostly because it makes the work form seem a little bit more unique, as opposed to just being a really similar copy to the Delta form. While it does take some time and effort, you can have the beam torch inside the Astray's hand, as well as having the other arm gas the work form, though you will still need the action base to help it completely lift the tactical arms. One of the great things of getting the Master Grade Red frame as opposed to the blue frame is the fact that you get to get all the bonus pieces you need to make this into an exact copy of the Master Grade Blue frame tactical arms, minus the colors. Two most important pieces you're going to get is the handle of the tactical arms and the Gatling gun. Now, these don't come pre-made as they are from the blue frame trays, so you will have to go on someplace like Dowlon.com to look for the instruction manuals to make these pieces. However, they are fairly simple and you shouldn't have much of a problem. And the other ones is the armor Schneiders that the blue frame is famous for. And turning the tactical arms 2L into the tactical arms for the blue frame is pretty simple. You just pop out this piece as well as the handle and plug in the blue frame version, as well as plug in the Gatling gun, and then simply try to detach this special piece, and you should have a exact copy. And here is the tactical arms for the blue frame, only in the red frame color scheme. And as you can see, for anyone who's actually built the blue frame, it is a exact same copy, but different colors and different decals. But it can still retain the same mode, such as the Gatling gun and mode. It is fairly easy to make this into the Gatling gun form just by pulling down the handle and pulling down the side blades to form the legs of the Gatling gun. And it looks pretty cool. And here is a height comparison between the tactical arms and the red frame, just to give you an idea of how big this tactical arms is. And of course, let's compare it to my next review, the Master Grade Wing Gundam TV version. And if you look closely, the Master Grade Red frame is just a bit taller, as it should be, whereas the Wing Gundam seems to have the slight edge thanks to its big wings. And now it's time to get into the positive and negatives of this kit. And we should first start off with the positives, which is, one, it looks great. This Gundam has a great design, and no matter how you look at it, it always somehow looks sleek, muscular, and just very stylish at the same time. Another point is that it's very stylish. No matter how you pose it, it seems to work, which is sometimes hard to find with other Master Grades. And another thing is the extras that they give you, the katanas, the tactical arms, and as well as the pieces to make the blue frame tactical arms. And you can even customize it if you have some cool idea for it. And For the price, this goes for about $65 on something like Hobby Wave, whereas the blue frame goes for about 62, 63, and the difference in price is about $2, $3, and you're getting a lot more. You're getting the chrome pieces for the katanas, and you're getting all this extra pieces for the tactical arms, and basically it's very worth it, and it is a lot better than the blue frame. So the only reason why you would get the blue frame over this is because you are a really big fan of the blue frame, or you just don't like the red frame. Another point is the articulation. As I've already showed you, this kit has incredible articulation. It is like a mini perfect grade, I'm sorry. So all the pieces slide, even the armor slides, and I love how the knee splits in such a perfect way. Another point is the stability. I have top coated this kit, but everything was staying together very well, including the tactical arms, which I've heard have some loose parts if you play around with it too often. And the final point that I like to bring up, this is a very fun build. Apart from the torso unit, which has a slight issue when you're building it, this kit is very fun, very easy to build, and you will be very satisfied with it due to its complex inner frame. Now, talking more about the actual frame, I think it's very obvious that Bandai would have done a very good job with the inner frame of this, because literally this frame can be recycled about 5 times for the red frame, the blue frame, the gold frame, Amatsu, and the green frame, and the Mirage frame, and plus all their different variants. Bandai, if they put a lot of effort and make this frame good, they can recycle it a lot and basically make a lot of profit, and they did a very good job with this. So you know that this frame is very well done because Bandai, who loves to recycle pieces, and in this case, if they can recycle basically the entire mold, they are going to do a very good job. Now moving on to the negatives of this kit, which there are not a lot of them, and they can usually be fixed easily. And one problem I've had is pieces falling off, mainly the V-fin as well as back of the arm pieces, so they might require a tad bit of glue to make sure that they stay on, so not a big problem. And the chest area is it's a bit hard to build, and it requires some force, and I never heard of it, but it does feel like sometimes you might break a piece while building it, so please take caution while building that area. And the biggest disappointment of this kit is probably the fact that these hilt katana parts aren't chromed. Now on the perfect grade, those pieces were chromed and they were beautiful, except for maybe a few nub marks. But here, Bandai decided to cheap out and use a very, very dull, toyish gold, which I have seen put together, and it doesn't reflect how it looks in the manga, and it doesn't look that great next to the chrome blades. And another point is probably the holes in the back of the arms. These holes are initially designed for the sword arms form of the tactical arms. However, there are no effect parts and for the tactical arms, so as a result, these holes seem it seems like they have a purpose, but they don't unless you have a blue frame hanging around to give him the effect parts. And another point is that this kit seems to require an action base if you want to post it very stylishly. Now, that's not exactly a problem for me, but if you are someone who doesn't have the money to get a $8 action base, then you might want to consider going for some other kit. And the final problem that I've heard a lot of complaints about next to the chrome swords is the fact that these hands, these fingers, in the manga, they are actually a different color scheme. They have white on the outside and red on the inside. However, I decided that was too difficult to paint, so I just painted it in a segmented way to give it more. So it's still better than the all red that it comes in, but it's not as good as a perfect grades. So there are a few negatives, and you can easily fix them with a bit of paint and glue. And now, let's move on to the grading of this kit. The first point that I like to grade is the articulation, which I am giving it a 10. It takes no effort whatsoever to get the 180s in this kit, and the arm and shoulders pull out, and all the sliding moving parts makes it seem like a mini PG. The next point I'd like to point out is the design, which I will also give it a 10. This kit looks very, very sleek and muscular, which I know is a bit weird to say about a mobile suit, but that is what I feel when I first see it. The next is stability, which I can only give it a 9, mainly because of the falling off pieces, mainly the V-fin, but it can easily be fixed with a bit of glue, like I have done. The next is the extras, which I am giving it a 10. You get the katanas, which minus the fact that they aren't fully chromed isn't as much of an issue. The next are the pieces to make the tactical arms into the blue frame variant, and of course finally the tactical arms. It can be a backpack, it can be a weapon, it can be a bow. This thing is just fantastic and is something that you do not want to miss. The next is the price, which I am also effortlessly giving it a 10. Now, this kit is only a bit more expensive than its Master Grade Blue Frame counterpart, and it comes with so many more pieces. You get the chromed katanas, you get the extras to make it into the blue frame, as well as the extra pieces for the tactical arms red frame. And finally, the criteria is building. Now, for building, I can sadly only give it a 9, because I experienced some problems while building the torso area, and that was very frustrating to a degree. However, maybe it was just me, because I haven't exactly had any problems. I haven't heard anyone else have the same problem. So overall, I am giving this kit a 9.6, which is an A in my book, and this is definitely one of the best Master Grades I have built so far. Thank you for watching this review. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you like what you see, and you can look forward to more reviews in the future, like Master Grade Wing Gundam. I'll start reviewing him the moment I upload this video.